This is Miriam's story about her little brother Moses. My name is Miriam. I am an Israelite who lived long ago in Egypt with my family. The ruler of Egypt was called Pharaoh. He made slaves out of all the Israelites. We had to work very hard and quickly in the blazing sun. Some of us made bricks for the grand buildings in Egypt. Others planted and harvested Pharaoh's crops. One day, my mother had a baby boy. We were so happy. We loved my brother very much, but Mother told me that Pharaoh had commanded, "Every son born will be thrown into the river. Every daughter will be saved." Pharaoh was afraid the boys would grow up to be strong men who would one day fight against him. My mother had to hide my brother from Pharaoh's soldiers. As my brother grew, it became harder to hide him. One day, Mother made a sturdy basket from bulrush leaves. She rubbed the outside of the basket with tar and mud so it would float on water. Mother put the baby in the basket and took him to the river to hide him among the reeds at the bank of the river. The basket floated like a little boat, gently rocking in and around the plants near the water's edge. I hid in the distance and watched to make sure my brother was safe. Suddenly, I heard people coming. I peeked out from my hiding spot and saw Pharaoh's beautiful daughter walking with her maids along the river. I held my breath and tried not to move. Then the princess saw the little boat made of bulrushes. One of the maids picked up the basket and carried it to the princess. What would she do when she saw my brother? As Pharaoh's daughter opened the basket, my brother began to cry. The princess knew he was an Israelite. I could tell by the gentle look on her face that she felt sorry for him. I stepped out from the reeds and asked the princess, "Would you like me to call a nurse to care for the child for you?" She told me to go find one, and I ran to get my mother. We brought my little brother home and took care of him for many happy months. When he was still a little boy, my brother had to go to the palace to live with the princess. She named him Moses, saying, "I drew him out of the water, and he became her son." Moses. His name means I drew him out of the water. Do you know what your name means? You could ask your mom or your dad. I bet they know. My name is Darlene, and it means tenderly loved. Moses grew strong and tall and lived like a royal prince in the palace, but he always knew he was an Israelite and was sad when his people were slaves. One day when Moses was a young man, he went out to the fields. There he saw an Egyptian soldier cruelly hitting a slave. When Moses saw that no one was watching, he killed the soldier. He hid the body in the sand and told no one what had happened. The next day, Moses saw two Israelites fighting one another. He asked, "Why are you hurting your brother?" The Israelites were angry with Moses and asked, "Who made you a prince and a judge over us? Are you going to kill us like you killed the Egyptian?" Then Moses was afraid that everyone knew he had killed the soldier. When Pharaoh found out what Moses had done, he was very angry. Moses ran away into the desert. He ran far away to the land of Midian. There he began a new life. He got married and became a shepherd. Many years later, Moses was in the desert watching his sheep when he saw bright flames coming from a bush. As he walked closer, Moses saw that the fire was not consuming the bush. Have you ever watched a campfire? It's so beautiful watching the flames dance. But we have to keep adding wood, or the fire just keeps getting smaller and smaller and goes out. Isn't it amazing that this fire didn't go out? Let's get back to our story. He heard a voice speaking to him. It was God. God told Moses that with his help, Moses would rescue his people from their slavery and lead them out of Egypt. My brother Moses never thought that God would ask him to do such an important job. God has a special job for you, too. As you grow, he will let you know what it is, and he will help you. Exodus 2:10b. She named him Moses, saying, I drew him out of the water. Thanks again for listening to my story. Rockabye Moses. Rockabye Moses in your small boat. Miriam watches you as you float. God's loving care guides a princess your way, who invites your mother to care for you that day. Moses is growing into a man. Later he runs to a faraway land. There he began a brand new life. He became a shepherd and found a wife. Taking his sheep to the desert one day, Moses saw fire from a bush far away. It burned and it burned and it did not burn away. Then God spoke to Moses, I'm with you always. God spoke to Moses, I'm with you always. See you soon, raccoon.